Okay, so are you ready for this? We are diving into some seriously cool tech today.
Oh, yeah, I love this stuff.
But get this, we're not going to Silicon Valley this time.
Oh, really? Where are we headed?
We're going all the way to Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah, a self-taught team there is making some serious waves with a mind-controlled prosthetic arm.
No way, that's
I
incredible.
know, right? We've got a YouTube video by Aframax English breaking down the whole story.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is packed with some fascinating details.
You know what's really fascinating about this to me? It's not just the technology itself, it's the human ingenuity behind it.
Right.
This is a prime example of how incredible innovation can come from anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
But,
So let's get into it. Who are the masterminds behind this?
okay, lay it on me.
We're talking about David and Moses.
Interesting.
They're two high school dropouts with a passion for tech and this really strong desire to help others.
I love that.
And they even started their own company.
Oh, wow, so they're really going for it.
Yeah, and the name is amazing. Wait for it.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Afrogenesis Artificial Intelligence.
So, that is a powerful name.
Yeah.
Afrogenesis, like using AI to create a new beginning for people.
Right.
I love it.
Okay, so let's talk about the tech itself. This prosthetic arm uses a headset that can pick up brain signals.
Wow.
Yeah, and translate those signals into actual movement.
So no muscle signals needed.
Nope, it's all about intention.
That's a huge advancement from traditional prosthetics, right?
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really impactful because traditional prosthetics are expensive,
Yeah, they are.
especially in regions like Kenya.
Right.
But David and Moses found a way to make their invention way more affordable by using salvaged electronic parts.
Wow. So they're not just making a difference with the tech itself, they're also addressing the accessibility issue.
Exactly. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And this actually ties into a major global issue.
What's that?
The World Health Organization estimates that 97% of people who need assistive devices in low-income countries don't have access to them.
That's a staggering number.
It is, and David and Moses are tackling that gap head on.
I love that. And they're doing it with ingenuity and e-waste, not with some high-tech solution from a big corporation.
It's really inspiring, right?
Absolutely.
And they didn't just stop at creating a replacement hand.
What do you mean?
They designed this arm to help with everyday tasks, like
Mm.
using a computer or doing chores.
Wow. So it's really integrated into daily life.
Yeah, and get this, they even integrated voice commands into some of their other inventions.
Are you serious? That's like Iron Man level cool.
I know, right? It's incredible. And they didn't just come up with this in a vacuum. They spent time with people in their community understanding the challenges faced by those with disabilities.
That's so important. I think a lot of inventors forget about the user experience.
Yeah, they went deep into these user needs, and that shaped their whole design process.
That's a crucial lesson for any innovator, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. But wait, there's more.
More. What else could there be?
This prosthetic arm is just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
David and Moses have created over 15 different inventions. Yeah, their productivity is off the charts.
Wow.
They've developed everything from a sanitizing device to a breathing device that protects against airborne viruses.
So they're not just talented, they're prolific too.
Right. Talk about impactful innovation. And remember how we were talking about those salvaged parts?
Yeah.
A lot of those materials came from a local dump site.
A dump site.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, they scoured the dump for e-waste, old computers, anything they could use.
It's amazing what they're doing with such limited resources.
Right. It makes you wonder what they could accomplish if they had access to better funding in a proper lab.
Absolutely. Their ingenuity could lead to breakthroughs with global impact.
I completely agree. They turned what many would see as a disadvantage into their superpower.
That's so true.
It just goes to show that with passion and a drive to solve real problems, innovation can flourish anywhere.
It's truly inspiring. Their story makes you think about how we can better support grassroots innovators, especially in under-resourced communities.
That's a really important point. And speaking of inspiring stories, there's another innovator doing some incredible work in the world of prosthetics.
Really? Who's that?
A Nigerian sculptor named Mr. Amanam.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
He's tackling a different but equally important aspect of prosthetic design.
What's that?
Instead of focusing solely on functionality, he's creating hyper-realistic prosthetics.
Wow.
Yeah, and these are specifically designed to match the skin tones of Black amputees.
That's incredible. He's focused on restoring not just physical function, but also confidence and identity.
Exactly. It adds this whole other dimension to this discussion about technology, healthcare, and social impact.
It's a perfect example of how innovation can be a force for inclusion and representation.
I couldn't agree more. But before we get too far into Mr. Aminam's work,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and retrace the journey of David and Moses.
Yeah, let's hear more about how they got their start.
I can't wait to tell you how they got into robotics because it's not what you might expect.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay, so we just talked about how David and Moses got into the world of robotics, but you might be surprised to learn that it wasn't exactly a straight path for them.
Oh, really? I thought they were like destined to be robotics geniuses from childhood.
Well, their story is really a testament to how passion can take you down unexpected paths.
That's true. I mean, you never know where life is going to take you.
Exactly. So for David, his first love was actually aeronautics.
Aeronautics. So he wanted to be a pilot.
That's right. He dreamed of soaring to the skies, and he wanted to build these incredible flying machines.
So like an aeronautical engineer.
Yeah, exactly. He was fascinated by airplanes and how they worked, and he was super hands-on even as a kid.
It's funny how interests can evolve over time, right? Like how that early fascination with flight could lead to a passion for robotics.
It's true. I hadn't thought about it like that, but you're right, there are definitely some overlapping principles there.
For sure, like the mechanics, the engineering, the problem solving, it all kind of goes together.
And David was serious about it too. He
Mhm.
designed and built his own drone.
Wow, using salvaged parts, I'm guessing.
You got it. He used whatever materials he could find. It was pretty impressive for a young guy with limited resources.
That's incredible, yeah. I can only imagine what it must have been like for him to build something so complex from scratch.
I know it was a real testament to his dedication and ingenuity, but then during one of its flights, the drone malfunctioned.
Oh no, what happened?
It crashed.
Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking after all that work.
It was a major setback for David, both practically and emotionally. He put so much time and energy into that project.
Yeah, I bet it's tough to see something you've poured your heart into literally crash and burn.
Exactly. And for some people, that might have been enough to make them give up on their dreams completely.
I can see that happening. It's easy to get discouraged when you face a setback like that.
But David isn't the type to give up easily.
I like that he's got that resilience.
Yeah, he does. And that experience, while disappointing, ended up being a turning point for him.
How so?
Well, for one thing, he realized that maybe a career as a pilot wasn't the safest path.
That makes sense. I mean, you're putting your life in the hands of technology every time you fly.
Right. And more importantly, it ignited this desire in him to focus his energy on something that would help people.
Oh, that's really sweet of him. He wanted to make a positive impact.
Exactly. Instead of potentially putting himself at risk, he wanted to use his skills to make a difference in the world.
That's a really admirable quality.
It is. And that's when he met Moses in high school.
Oh, so they're classmates.
And they discovered this shared passion for technology and innovation.
That's awesome. It's great to find people who share your interests.
Right. And they were both super talented. They even collaborated on a project that made it to the provincial level of a science competition.
Wow, so they were already making waves back then.
They were a force to be reckoned with,
Mm.
but after high school, they hit a major roadblock.
What happened?
Their families were struggling financially, and it was impossible for them to continue their formal education.
Oh, man, that's tough. It's hard enough to pursue your dreams without having to worry about finances.
Right. It's a huge barrier for so many talented young people. But this is where David and Moses' resourcefulness really shines through.
You mean they didn't give up?
Not at all. They could have easily walked away, but instead they found a way to create their own learning environment.
That's incredible. What do you mean by their own learning environment?
They basically created this space where they could continue to explore their passions and work on projects that would benefit their community.
That's amazing. So they were self-taught.
Pretty much, they were determined to keep learning and growing, even without a formal education. And remember those salvaged electronic parts.
Oh, yeah, from the dump site, right.
That's right. That's where a lot of their materials came from.
It's crazy to think that the mind-controlled prosthetic arm came from discarded electronics.
It really is. It just goes to show that you don't need fancy labs or expensive equipment to innovate.
That's such an important message, especially for young people who might be feeling limited by their circumstances.
Exactly. It's all about passion, resourcefulness,
Yeah.
and a willingness to learn.
Absolutely. Their story is proof that brilliance can exist anywhere.
So you mentioned that David's interest in aeronautics played a role in some of their other inventions.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that. I mean, what does building drones have to do with creating a sanitizing device?
Remember how they repurposed the motor from an old toy helicopter?
Oh, right. I forgot about that. So they used that for the spinning mechanism.
Yeah, that's how they powered it. It's another example of their ability to see potential in things that other people might just throw away.
It's like they have this magical ability to transform junk into something useful.
I know, it's pretty amazing. And that device could help protect people's health. That's what's so cool about it.
Right. It's not just about the ingenuity, it's about the impact their inventions are actually making a difference.
Exactly. And sometimes those limitations, those constraints can actually lead to unexpected breakthroughs.
You mean like necessity is the mother of invention?
Precisely. And David and Moses are living proof of that.
I totally agree. It's amazing what they've been able to achieve with limited resources, but it also makes you wonder what they could accomplish with more support.
Yeah, it's like they're running a marathon with weights strapped to their ankles. They're already doing incredible things.
Hmm.
But imagine if they had access to a fully equipped lab.
Right. The possibilities are endless.
Their story is really a testament to the power of the human spirit.
It is, it's inspiring to see how they've overcome obstacles and achieved so much.
And they've done it all with this unwavering focus on helping others.
That's what I find so admirable about them. They're not motivated by fame or fortune. They genuinely want to make a difference.
Exactly, and that's what makes their story so compelling. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the human spirit, the drive to make a difference, and the belief that anything is possible if you set your mind to it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's a message that we all need to hear, especially in today's world.
And you know what else is inspiring? Their journey highlights some really critical issues when it comes to supporting grassroots innovation.
Like what kind of issues?
Yeah, so we were just talking about the inspiring impact that David and Moses are making, but there are some challenges that come up when you think about their story.
Yeah, for sure. Like they have accomplished so much with such limited resources. It's kind of mind-blowing.
I know, it is. It really makes you think about what they could do with more support.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine the possibilities if they had access to like even a small amount of funding.
Right. Think about it. What if they had a proper lab with like all the latest equipment and a team of engineers working with them?
I mean, the potential breakthroughs would be incredible.
Totally. Their story just shows how important it is to invest in grassroots innovation.
Yeah.
These are the initiatives that are really going to make a difference.
Right. Like these are the people who are coming up with solutions to real-world problems.
Yeah, and they're often overlooked because they don't have the same resources as bigger institutions.
It's a shame because they have so much potential.
Okay, so let's go back to the prosthetic arm for a second. We've talked about how it's controlled by brain signals, but I'm curious about the user experience. Like, is it easy to use?
Well, it takes some practice for sure. The user has to learn how to like focus their thoughts and intentions to control the arm's movements.
So it's not just like plug and play?
Not exactly, but it's kind of like learning a new skill, like riding a bike.
Oh, I see. So it becomes more intuitive over time.
Right, and that's part of what makes this invention so amazing. It really empowers people to regain their independence.
And we can't forget about the impact on affordability. I mean, this arm is way more accessible than traditional options.
Oh yeah, those can cost a fortune.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
And David and Moses have found a way to make it significantly more affordable.
It's really game-changing, especially for people in low-income countries.
Totally. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities for them.
It's easy to get caught up in the technology itself, but it's important to remember the human element behind all of this.
Oh, absolutely. David and Moses aren't just brilliant engineers. They're also incredibly compassionate people.
Right? They're driven by this desire to help others. They've seen firsthand the challenges that people with disabilities face, and they want to make a difference.
Yeah, and that's what makes their story so inspiring. It's that blend of technical skill and social consciousness.
I couldn't agree more. They're not just building devices, they're building a better future.
And their journey has implications that go way beyond just prosthetics, you know?
What do you mean?
Well, it makes you think about how we can support innovation as a society, how we address inequality, and how we use technology for good.
Those are some big questions.
They are, but they're important ones. And I think David and Moses' story is a really powerful reminder that change often starts at the grassroots level.
Absolutely. It starts with individuals who are passionate about solving problems and making a difference. So what does all this mean for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that innovation can come from anywhere. It doesn't require, fancy degrees or expensive equipment.
Right. It's about passion, creativity, and a willingness to challenge the status quo.
Exactly. And maybe you listening right now will be the one to create the next groundbreaking invention.
I love that message. Anything is possible if you dare to dream big and take action.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of Kenyan AI prosthetics. But before we go, I want to leave you with this thought. What are you passionate about? What problems do you see in the world that you want to solve?
Oh, that's a great question.
And what steps can you take right now to make a difference? Maybe it's volunteering your time, maybe it's supporting a cause you believe in, or even just sharing the inspiring stories of innovators like David and Moses.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Every action, no matter how small, can create a ripple effect and contribute to positive change.
So true.
So thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring the world with curiosity and wonder.
And keep innovating.